Hello. Hello. Hello.
Good
Morning.
morning.
Uh, Welcome. So, can you send the message to others also to quickly join?
Yes, sir, okay, I will do.
Please send. I have already sent actually even to their individual WhatsApp, but still no except you, nobody others are there in the class.
Okay, sir, I will see that.
Hello, Spurti. Hello.
Yes,
Good
sir.
morning. Good
Yes,
morning.
sir.
Welcome.
Good morning, sir.
How are you?
Fine, sir. How are you, sir?
Fine, ma.
Uh,
You have got the material yesterday what I have sent on through WhatsApp.
yes, sir. Yes, sir. I got.
Read all those materials,
Yes, sir.
PPTs,
Okay,
and
sir.
multiple choice questions, whatever you have attended. All those are important.
Okay, sir.
What's your opinion with respect to conducting open book test? Can we conduct one day open book test?
Okay, sir.
Because
Fine, sir.
online also we don't know about the stand of the VTU, but it is sure that they'll be conducting a descriptive examination. They may
Yes, sir.
call to the college or they may conduct online. We don't have any information with respect to that, but better
Okay,
to
sir.
have one open book test and one descriptive test online, so that
Oh,
will give you kind of practice.
okay,
Okay, we
sir.
can have it for a small weightage of the marks, for 5 marks or 10 marks. We can consider that for the internals also. Uh,
Okay, sir.
it is it good? You can discuss among your friends and you can let me know.
Okay, sir. Okay, fine, sir.
Mhm. I'm just waiting for one more to join. So then I'll start the class. One more minute.
Okay, sir.
Nidhi,
Yes, sir.
I'm just talking about the open book test.
Yes, sir.
Open book test and one descriptive test. Just to how the practice is important,
Mm-hmm.
because
Okay.
once I complete some of the previous question papers, now I am discussing the previous question paper and I'm also giving the solution. You can
Yes,
keep
sir.
all the PPTs and notes that is given to you in
Okay.
one folder, and you can write once a open book test, which will
Okay, sir.
help you to understand what type of questions you will get, and then we can have one descriptive closed test, not
Okay.
book or any material you are opening. That way, if you conduct two tests, it may be helpful for you.
Yes, sir. Exactly.
We don't know. Still, it is not clear. VTU is planning to conduct the descriptive examination.
Okay. So, but like, when will be having our main examinations? Like, hello, sir.
Hello.
Sir, when will we be having our main exams, sir? Any
5th to
idea?
7th July, you are having last working day, no?
Okay, yes, sir.
After that only.
Uh-huh.
After
Okay.
the last working day, most probably
Mhm.
July end. And
Okay,
as
sir.
of now, after the theory exam, then they may conduct the practical.
Practical exam. Okay. So we'll be having time to practice practical exam, no, sir, in the college
That's what
itself.
I requested for the university also. Let us
Mhm.
see what decision they will take.
Okay, sir.
So totally the students will not be put in trouble. That way some good decisions they will be taking.
Yes, sir. Exactly.
You are able to see the screen? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in your syllabus, cyber security and cyber law is there. Cyber law also governs intellectual property rights. So briefly, if you know intellectual property rights, it's enough. You need not go in depth with respect to what is a copyright law, what is semiconductor law, okay, what is a trademark law and how to get the trademark. These are not required. If you just know, or if you are able to give examples for certain intellectual property rights, that may be enough. That knowledge will help you to answer some of the questions which are asked in cybersecurity with respect to intellectual property rights. As we know, intellectual property rights is the right given for exclusive right given to the person who has created it. So generally intellectual property is defined for the intellectual work of a human being, not for the animal or not for the machine. So that's why a famous example is, if I click a photo of the Taj Mahal, then I will be having the copyright for the photography that I did. But if a monkey clicks the photo or the picture of the Taj Mahal, okay, it won't be getting the copyright. That's one famous example that is given to compare that human for his intellectual work he will get the copyright, or he'll be having intellectual property right, but whereas animal, non-human beings, okay, machine or any animal will not be having the copyright. Copyright, when we say copyright, so different types of copyrights are there. Copyright will be given for the poet for being written the poem for his literary work. Artistic works such as drawings of, say, a peacock bird. Even though you have a lot of peacock pictures, the picture that you draw will be having the copyright. So copyright comes by default. So by the moment you write a page of information on your own, not if you are just a copy, yeah, you have seen, you have experienced when you are a small kid, first standard, second standard, third standard, teacher used to give a copyright book. Okay, for example, Sri Rama copy pustaka, right? Whatever is there, just we will write. For that there is no right will be given. Even though you have copied, the rights will not be given to you, because just whatever is there you have written. But if you write your own answers, for example, even the teacher teaches you, you read in the book, when you are writing, you frame your own sentences and you write. The content of it need not be innovative or new, but still the answers are original. That means the two poems lines may be same, okay, but if they have been produced at the same point of time from two different authors who are at two different locations, still it is called original. Okay, so that way, so for the original literary work, original artistic work will be getting the copyright. So the question is, give two examples of for each of the following copyright. They may ask to give the example. So literary works such as poem, drama, artistic works such as drawings of a peacock are the examples of copyright. Trademark examples. Then the question is asking you, give an example for a trademark. So you have seen, right? So trademark is a logo of a, for example, a logo of a technical training institute with a slogan such as become competent with knowledge, skills and behavior and get recognized. That may be called as a trademark. Trademark is the term generally used for the business purpose. Institution is also having, for example, BMS Institute of Technology and Management is also having a logo in which BMS Institute of Technology management, Bangalore 64, Nahi Jnanena Sdrusham is written, and inside of which some icons are given which represents the electrical department, computer science department, civil department, telecom department, right, electronics department, and like this. So this entire thing constitutes a logo. Okay, so trademark is a logo of a technical institute, for example, logo of a garments company, for example. So some nice logo has been drawn and some catchy words are written just to impress the world, for example. Cadbury Dairy Milk have a trademark on their specific purple color, right? For example, if you take a Cadbury Dairy Milk more to share, right, and that they are showing in that Cadbury, they are pouring the milk, right? So this is an example for the trademark. And how analyze how internet enables infringement. So this is how we are connecting the copyright and trademark with the cyber security. Cyber law governs all the activities on the internet. Whatever you do using the electronic gadgets, which all those things, all those activities comes under the ambit of the cyber law. Therefore, you should think that the cyber law is having a play everywhere on all the gadgets, whatever gets connected to the internet. So cyber law plays its role, everything actually. Cyber law and security means it is on top of all domains. Okay. So for example, if I am having an article on the internet, yeah, I can make certain changes quickly, and I may uh, publish that article in my name. That's possible. But today, with the advent of different technologies, copyright comes into picture. That's why copyright is important. See how copyright, artistic work, or literary work, and cyber law comes into picture together, having relations with, with each other. So if I publish an article, then I'll, which is not mine, but only I am changing some contents, say 10% of the contents I am changing, and writing my name in place of some other's name, and I'm publishing this as article of my own, then maybe possible in some other situation. Now you are aware of the different plagiarism check softwares which actually compares whatever you write and put on the internet, or whatever the electronic document that you create can be checked with the existing documents across the different countries in the entire world, and we can see how much content similarity exists, right? So that's possible now. And suppose such content exists, author of the article will be asked to withdraw such informations, and they'll be block marked, right? So that's what is known as the plagiarism, right? Plagiarism, uniqueness you should have. So if you write all sentences in a document on your own without copying, then you'll not be having the plagiarism, but you'll be having the uniqueness, right? So any such things will be punished. The violation, we call it as a infringement of copyright. Suppose without the permission of the author, if I use certain information, or without giving proper credit, if I do not refer the author who contributed certain information, then it is also violation of integrity in the academia. Okay, so those informations will lead to those such type of activities will lead to the infringement of the copyright. So many things we have seen in the news. This is the title of this picture. This is the music of this picture. So this director has stolen the story of this picture and not shown any credits or reference. Okay. So many such allegations will be made generally. Those may be having the cases of infringement. No doubt, internet having given different types of tools, you can easily make a modification to the existing digital content, and you can easily infringe. Therefore, internet enables infringement. Coming back to this patent, I give two examples for patent. So, patent, when we say patent, some patent should have the novelty. That means something new you should have developed, and you should have some industrial applications. Cost effectiveness should be there, and a person of ordinary skills will not be able to do that. So it should have some extraordinary contributions with industrial relevance to call certain things as patentable. So iPad range is protected under a patent. Pen with a scanner, steel kidneys, life-saving invention, breastfeeding shots. All these things are some of the uh, examples of the patent. Internet is a decentralized, uncontrolled platform where it is possible to get almost any content. In addition to it, many hacking tools are available which can facilitate infringement of different copyrights. Such infringements are difficult to identify, especially when the cybercrime committed through the current technology. Cybercrime tools. Further, cyber law is to keep learning as technology changes and the way of doing crime changes. It's also required to invent tools to investigate cyber crimes on the internet. Since the internet is not having a control, anybody at any point of time can make use of ubiquitous computing for making certain infringement. That's possible, you know, right? Even photos of certain person can do modification, and they can do many mischievous activities. So infringement easily happens over the internet because of the different modern tools available. If it is used in a wrong way, can lead to different violations and cyber crimes, as we have discussed many a lot of times. Now we'll go to the next question. Explain how you can solve the following problems. Privacy violation across different countries by a Google. Brief under what section of IT Act this can be handled. Friends, this is very, very important question. I have already asked this question many times and have asked you to discuss the how this is possible. Privacy violation across different countries by a Google, under what section of IT this can be handled. Most of the softwares today will not be having the rating system. That means if I'm having some tool in the Google Play Store, for example, or in any store, if I'm having a rating system for this particular software, I mean to say rating with respect to the security of it, privacy of it, then it is a better one, right? Otherwise, see, we are seeing in the news sometimes during the COVID lockdown period also, Zoom software you should not use sometimes. And on different technical platforms, we have seen on since April 7th or 22nd, Zooms can be used because now it is technically safe. It's having end-to-end encryption. But there are many things, right? We say TikTok softwares. Many people in India, they have downloaded. Across the world, as was shown in the yesterday's news in many of the TV channels. Nearly 430 million users are using the TikTok. Okay, people are crazy about this. You know, it is a China made software, and the point that you have to understand here is that it has got different 30 kinds of permission it asks when you are installing the TikTok software in your mobile phone or computer, which collects almost all information, and there won't be any privacy. Okay, you have compromised, you said yes, and by doing so, so many softwares, especially made from the China countries, their prime intention is not to facilitate just the features of the TikTok. Their idea is to collect data or information, and they might have targeted certain countries in doing so, and people, ordinary people, will not be knowing of these internal hidden things, and they may download the software and they may start using it. Therefore, we have to understand what happens, what violation happens when we do certain things. Such several softwares are available. You might have listened to the different arguments that are happening, and so on in Atmanirbhar Bharat, they have asked to use our own softwares, and all softwares, what is our software or somebody else's software, all software should have a rating system which should make clear to the end users that for what purpose we are collecting the information, and somebody has to verify whether a particular software, say let us say some browser you are installing, you need to use this browser, but while installing, if it is asking some credentials from you, and if that those credentials are going to be used for a wrong purpose, then we'll be in trouble. Therefore, privacy violation should not happen. There should be some law, there should be some mechanism which enables the software to use the data with the consent of the particular person. So what data are sensitive, what data are not sensitive, what data can be shared with whom, we call it as a privacy notice. A software or an organization should have a privacy notice, or a college should have a privacy notice, and they should tell the students for what purpose we are using this data. Similarly, business organization should make it clear for what purpose we are using the data. Health record, medical record maintenance happens in electronic health record, right? So many critical informations of the patient exist, not only name, address, telephone number, credit card informations, many information exists. If such data are hacked, then it leads to a lot of problems in case of medical records, and without the consent of the patient, data should not be given to the others. Okay, so all these things are related to the privacy violation. The question here is, explain how you can solve the following problems: privacy violation across different countries. By a Google brief under what sections of IT Act this can be handled. The software does not properly prevent private data or confidential data or critical data such as credit card numbers from being accessed by actors who either one are not explicitly authorized to access the data, or two do not have the implicit consent of the people to which data is related. Privacy violation may occur when private user information enters the program. Data is returned to the external location such as console, file system, or network. Google is in a bit of hot water if it were after it was fined by Spanish privacy watchdog on December 2019. The fine stemmed from the search engine breaking the country's data protection laws regarding collecting personal information from consumers and failing to inform consumers the purpose of the collection. The fine, which totals $1.2 million, is a modest fine for the California-based company. Reuters reported, although the fine may be modest, it aims to prohibit Google from collecting consumer personal information that is used in a variety of cloud storage services without notifying consumers as to the purpose of each collection and service. Penalty for breach of confidentiality and privacy. Section 72 of the IT Act provides for penalty for breach of confidentiality and privacy. This section states that any person who, in pursuance of any of the powers conferred under the IT Act, rules or regulations made thereunder, has secured access to any electronic record, book, register, correspondence, information, document, or other material without consent of the person concerned, discloses such material to any other person shall be punishable with imprisonment for a term which may extend up to 2 years or with fine which may extend to rupees 1 lakh, approximately US dollar 3,000, or with both. Okay, this is so the answer is the section 72 of the IT Act provides penalty for the breach of confidentiality and privacy. So this you have to remember, and you can read the remaining section of the explanation to make you have a proper understanding. Amendments as introduced by the IT Act 2008. Even though IT Act 2000 IT Act was introduced in 2000, some amendments are made in IT Act 2008. Section 10A was inserted in the IT Act, which deals with validity of the contracts formed through electronic means, which lays down the contracts formed through electronic means shall not be deemed to be unenforceable solely on the ground that such electronic form or means was used for that purpose. So electronic contracts are valid with respect to section 10A of the IT Act, okay, which was an amendment in 2008. So this is very important in blockchain technology, in supply chain technology. We know that smart contracts are used, and smart contracts violation that happens is punishable. The following important sections have been substituted and inserted by the IT Act Amendment 2008. Section 43A, compensation for failure to protect data. Section 66, computer related offenses. Section 66A, punishment for sending offensive messages through communication service. Section 66B, punishment for dishonestly receiving stolen computer resource or communication device. Section 66C, punishment for identity theft. Section 66D, punishment for cheating by personation by using computer resource. Section 66E, punishment for violation of privacy. Friends, some of these things you have to remember, like violation of privacy under section 66A. Okay, so these are some of the important questions. Next, we'll go to the next question. This also I have given to you to solve. I don't know how many of you actually solved. An employee of XYZ company in Bangalore transfers personal data of employee of ABC company in UK to his friends in UK. Discuss on possible violations. an employee of XYZ company in Bangalore. The company is XYZ and it is in Bangalore. As per the India, the personal information, personal data of an ABC company in UK. So we divide the personal data into two types, sensitive and non-sensitive. If he is giving the sensitive information without the consent, it's a problem. Otherwise, non-sensitive information like a name, a USN or address, I think we can share it. Suppose an employee of XYZ company in Bangalore, he used to work with this Indian law. Suppose if he transfers personal data of employee of ABC company in UK, okay, so you know his friend working there in that company, but he is an employee of company in UK. To his friend in UK, discuss on possible violations. So obviously penalty of breach comes here as we have discussed. So go through the section 72 of the IT Act, which provides for penalty for breach of confidentiality and privacy, right? So whatever we have explained so far, that same answers can be used here. List any two cyber crimes and give examples. Crimes that use computer networks or devices to advance other ends include fraud and identity theft, although this increasingly uses malware, hacking, or phishing, making it an example of both computer as target and computer as tool to do the crime. Information warfare, phishing scams, and spams. These are the examples of cyber crimes. What are attack vectors? Explain cybersecurity breaches that affect three principles of security. Attack vectors. What is an attack vector? There are three attack vectors. Many attack vectors are there, but as per the syllabus, when this type of question comes, you can focus on phishing attacks, SQL injection, DDoS attack. Okay, and attack vector is defined as the technique by which unauthorized access can be gained to a device or a network by hackers for nefarious purposes. In other words, it is used for assaulting or exploiting a network, a computer or device. Many types of cybersecurity breaches that affect the three principles of security fall into three different attack vectors: phishing, SQL injection attacks, and DDoS attacks. SQL injection refers to an injection attack wherein an attacker can execute malicious SQL statements, also commonly referred to as malicious payload, that controls a web application database server, also commonly referred to as a relational database management system, DBMS. RDBMS. Phishing is a type of social engineering attack often used to steal user data, including login credentials, credit card numbers. It occurs when an attacker, masquerading as a trusted entity, dupes a victim into opening an email, instant message, or text message, and he gets the data. In computing, a denial of service attack is a cyber attack in which the perpetrator seeks to make a machine or network resource unavailable to its intended users by temporarily or identifying disrupting service of a host connected to the internet. If I develop a program, a bot, which books all tickets of the railway reservation system, so only Shramik rail and some only kinds of rails may be running. and because of some pressures and because of some needy measures, government may started the train services. But anyway, the booking has to be done. Reservation, those who do, for them the tickets seats will be given, right? So what I will do is I will write a botnet program which books all tickets, makes reservation and pay also. But nobody travels. A kind of denial of service attack. Always I will keep engaging a particular server, or I will keep bombarding with the different spam mails, junk mails, so that server is not able to function properly. So that's also a denial of service attack. So like this, different types of service attack we can make, which basically makes the intended user not getting the required resource or service, and they disrupt services of a force connected to the internet. Okay, that is denial of service attack. Explain objectives of IT legislation in India and what does IT Act 2000 legislations deals with. This very important question. So what are the objectives of information technology legislation in India? The government of India enacted its Information Technology Act 2000 with the objective stating officially as Government of India enacted its uh, uh, IT Act 2000 for the purpose of providing legal recognition for transactions carried out by means of electronic data interchange and other means of electronic communication, commonly referred to as electronic commerce, which involve the use of alternatives to paper based methods of communication and storage of information to facilitate electronic filing of documents with the government agencies, and further to amend the Indian Penal Code, the Indian Evidence Act 1872, the Bankers Book Evidence Act 1891, and Reserve Bank of India Act 1934, and for matters connected herewith or incidental thereto. What does IT Act 2000 legislation deals with? The Act essentially deals with the following issues: legal recognition of electronic documents, legal recognition of digital signatures, offenses and contraventions, justice dispensation system for cybercrime. These are some of the issues the IT Act 2000 deals with. There are some notable features which are part of the amendment made to IT Act 2000 in 2008. So notable features of the ITAA, IT Act Amendment 2008 are focusing on data privacy, focusing on information security, defining cyber cafe, making digital signature technology neutral, defining reasonable security practices to be followed by corporate, redefining the role of intermediaries, recognizing the role of Indian Computer Emergency Response Team. Inclusion of some additional cyber crimes like child pornography and cyber terrorism in the amendment made in 2008, authorizing an inspector to investigate cyber crimes as against the deputy superintendent of police earlier. Okay, these are some of the amendments made in 2008. What are the differences between DDoS and DOS attack? So very important question. The difference between DOS and DDoS attack. Denial of service attack is different from distributed denial of service attack. The DOS attack typically uses one computer and one internet connection to flood a targeted system or resource. Whereas DDoS attack uses multiple computers and multiple internet connections to flood the target resources, and the targets are also maybe multiple. Okay, and we can say both works on command control. So some command may be issued, command control protocol they uses. That's we can say that's the similarity. So along with this explanation, you can also search for architecture of DOS attack and DDoS attack in the Google, and you can write any architecture, because the architecture that we are writing is a general architecture here. You can write the architecture of DOS attack and DDoS attack. In the first set of PPTs, I had discussed SOPA and PIPA, right? Stop online privacy. That is a USA, United States of America bill, whereas PIPA protects Intellectual Property Act. PIPA, that's is another act. SOPA adds the ability to protect IPR, online trafficking. 1 second. Next question is, explain the types of hacker attack. So, friends, we have discussed many things, but here they are asking the question, types of hacker attack. So broadly classify the hackers attack into active attacks and passive attack. Under active attack, we can list out a denial of service attack, breaking into a site, intelligence gathering, resource usage, deception. All these are examples of the active attack. Passive attack, sniffing for example, password sniffing, network traffic sniffing, sensitive information sniffing, and information gathering. These are passive attacks. So I have already given the definitions of what is active attack and passive attack, right? So that you can use. Explain the process of session hijacking. What is session hijacking? Very, very important. Hijacking we know. Webjacking we know. Forcefully take the control of a particular website, webjacking. Process of taking over an existing active sessions. Modus operandi, user makes a connection to the server by authenticating user using his user ID and password. After I am explaining the steps of session hijacking. Okay, first one is user makes a connection to the server by authenticating using his user ID and password. After the user authenticates, they have access to the server as long as the session lasts. Hacker takes the user offline by denial of service. So that's explained this diagram, session hijacking. Please go through this architecture to explain session hijacking, right? Attacker, see, gets connected to the server, and the server is authenticating, right? Bob telnets to the server, Bob authenticates to server, and the connection happens. And attacker can monitor the session, periodically injects commands into session, launch passive and active attacks from the session. So this is called session hijacking. Possibility of allocation of marks for this session hijacking is generally 4 marks. Analyze the adverse effects of pornography on children, articulate on the impact of it on society, and propose the IT solution to this problem. So child pornography is pornography that exploits children for sexual stimulation. It may be produced with the direct involvement or sexual assault of a child, or it may be simulated child pornography. Friends, please understand that watching, transmitting child pornography material is an non-cognizable offense. You cannot go to lawyer and ask for some bail. akshamya aparadha and non-cognizable. Okay, so it is, one should not do it. Edophilia, alternatively spelled as pedophilia, is a psychiatric disorder in which an adult or older adolescent experiences a primary or exclusive sexual attraction to pubescent children. Although girls typically begin the process of puberty at age 10 or 11, the boys at the age of 11 or 12. Criteria for pedophilia extends the cutoff point for pubescence to age 13. A person who is diagnosed with the pedophilia must be at least 16 years old and at least 5 years older than the pubescent child for the attraction to be diagnosed as a pedophilia. Pedophilia is termed a pedophilic disorder in the Diagnostic Statistical Manual of the Mental Disorders, and the manual defines it as a paraphilia involving intense and recurrent sexual urges towards, fantasizes about pubescent children that have either been acted upon or which cause the person with the attraction distress or interpersonal difficulty. The International Classification of Diseases defines it as a sustained, focus, and intense pattern of sexual arousal as manifested by persistent sexual thoughts, fantasies, urges, or behavior. So please go through these informations. What are the impact of it is given here, and also I've already discussed it in some other PPT material. Please go through it. The solution proposed can be like this: children below age of 18 years should not be given access to such videos. Software should have intelligence to support this. Firewalls, packet filters are need to work with the cyber law compliant. Biometrics such as face recognition, iris of internet users should be taken but to be kept confidential during the investigation may be provided. If a software or a combination of hardware and software, if is able to recognize the actual age of a person, then it's possible for us to have a control of access easily. Explain password attack and cryptographic solution to provide security. A hacker can exploit a weak passwords and uncontrolled network modems easily, right? Hacker gets the phone number of a company. For example, hacker runs a war dialer program. If original number is 555 5532, he runs all numbers in the range 555 access range. When modem answers answers, he records the phone number of the modem. Hacker now needs a user ID and password to enter company network. Companies often have default account, example temp, anonymous with no password. Often the root account uses company name as the password. For strong passwords, you should have proper password cracking techniques. Otherwise, it is okay. You can easily hack the password. In the password security technique, as we have seen, we use a hash function, and the after getting the hash, we add some special character, and we call it as a salt. And this adding a salt gives some kinds of additional security, special security. All these things we had discussed, and also we had a MCQ question with respect to this. Please go through this architecture. Please try to understand password hashed is stored by adding a salt to it. We call it as a salt added to randomize password and stored on the system. Password attacks launched to crack encrypted password. There is one case study of emphasis. I have asked you to do this. Please go through this case study of emphasis. Here in December 2004, 4 call centers employees working at an outsourcing facility operated by Emphasis in India obtained PIN codes from 4 customers of Emphasis client Citigroup. These employees were not authorized to obtain the PINs in association with others to call the center's employees opened new accounts at Indian banks using false identities. Within 2 months, they used the PINs and account information gleaned during their employment at Emphasis to transfer money from the bank accounts of Citigroup customers to new accounts at Indian banks. By April 2005, the Indian police had tipped off to the scam by a US bank and quickly identified the individuals involved in scam. Arrests were made when those individuals attempted to withdraw cash from the falsified accounts. $426,000 was stolen. The amount recovered was $230,000. Question: under what section of IT this crime can be handled? Evaluate this case and give your judgment. So you should know. Suppose if this case study question is not asked, you can use this case study as an example to write and elaborate your answers in the main examination. Penalty under section 43 of the IT Act: penalty and compensation for damage to computer and computer system. So verdict was section 43A was applicable here due to the nature of unauthorized access involved to commit transactions. Fake profile of president posted by imposters on September 9, 2010. The another case study: the imposter made a fake profile in the name of the Honorable President Pratibha Devi Patil, then President of India. A complaint was made from Additional Controller, President Household, President Secretariat regarding the 4 fake profiles created in the name of the Honorable President on social networking website Facebook. The said complaint stated that President House has nothing to do with the Facebook and profile is misleading. Fake profile is misleading the general public. The first information report under section 469 IPC and 66A Information Technology Act 2000 was registered based on the said complaint at the police station. The Economic Offences Wing, the Light Wing of Delhi Police, which specializes in investigating economic crimes including cyber offenses. Right? So comment on this is, as per the section 66A, punishment for sending offensive messages through communication service is there. So please go through this. All these things we have discussed already, and the main thing that you have to remember is section 66A, punishment for sending offensive messages through communication service. Okay, so with this I have discussed one question paper of the second internal test, and we are left with one more question paper discussion that we will discuss in the next class. Okay, so I thank all of you for patiently listening so far. Listen carefully at some other time also. Once again, these videos are useful for you for your examination point of view, and also after this class I will be sharing today's notes. Thank you one and all. Thank you.